No heroics into Sandoval, please.
Cheers, Jeff.
Hey guys, it's James here. Welcome back to another F1 2020 My Team Career Mode video. We are here with episode number 21 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. If you did miss the last episode in Mexico, make sure to check that one out. It was probably the best video I have ever made. The last lap was so dramatic. It was absolutely crazy. I was so out of breath after commentating it, but it was really, really good fun, and I hope you guys did enjoy that video. So make sure to check it out if you did miss it. But just going to the Brazilian Grand Prix now. Interlagos is one of the best circuits on the calendar, but we're hopefully going to advance time, and there is an upgrade which hopefully won't fail this time.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through from the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
So luckily the new parts haven't failed. There's a major chassis upgrade which has come through, meaning we'll be able to do the next major chassis upgrade. And also, if you are new around here, make sure you are subscribed. With Season 2 round the corner, JNS Racing is going to be totally reborn with a new livery and probably a new teammate as well. But we're just now going to advance time to qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So here we are then for qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We are obviously going to check the setup, and it is raining. Rain is always a factor here in Interlagos, but we are not going to change the setup from the golden setup because we want to be better in the race. So obviously if we whack some more downforce on it, we're going to be a sitting duck down through Sector 3 in this circuit. Obviously it's a very, very high speed circuit, so I'm only going to show you one lap, but don't expect very much from this qualifying. So we're coming across the top of the hill now, down towards the center S's. It's not a very long run down towards the first corner, but it should be a very exciting, because it's quite a tight turn 1, feeding into turns 2 and 3. As you can see, we are a little bit up on our time, and there's a very dry line that's come onto the track. But it is raining here in Interlagos. Obviously, some of the greatest races in Formula 1 have come at this circuit. Brazil 2016 and Brazil 2012 are two of arguably the greatest races of the modern era. Interlagos always seems to create great racing. Also 2019 was also a fantastic race here. But heading up the hill, we are 2.5 tenths up on our previous best. Obviously going through this little section. This section is very tricky. Make sure you don't rev up the rear tyres. We have had 2 crashes in qualifying in the previous 2 races, which is unbelievable. The fact that we managed to crash out of 2 qualifying, so mainly just trying to keep the car on the track here. As we head round through this absolutely flat out left-hander in the dry. We had to do a little lift off in the wet in towards Junsao, where obviously Lewis Hamilton got past Timo Glock in 2008, cueing probably the most dramatic bit of Formula 1 commentary ever, courtesy of Martin Brundle and James Allen. But we're going to come across the line. We've made a little mistake through Sector 3. We weren't able to go totally flat out, but we're going to come across the line, and where's it going to put us in qualifying? 18th. Not bad, but I didn't really expect much from this qualifying session.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Bottas, Leclerc and Max Verstappen. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race. Formula 1 returns to Sao Paulo once again, with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Brazilian Grand Prix. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. And that gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Gasly, Stroll, Albon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ricciardo and Daniel Kvyat, Verstappen, Norris, Kimi Raikkonen, and Zhou, James, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, and Nicholas Latifi. Sainz, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are then for the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's going to be a very simple one-stop strategy from the soft compound tyre onto the hards. Obviously, with it being towards the end of the season, there's many grid penalties. So although we qualified in 18th, we're going to be starting in 15th place. But we're going to go to 5 red lights for the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it is lights out and away we go. Good start compared to our teammate Guan Yu Zhou and Kimi Raikkonen as we head across the AstroTurf on the right-hand side, trying to go round the outside of Lando Norris into the first corner as the 2 Red Bull cars go side by side through turn 2. We go flat out through there and we do get past Lando Norris. We manage to squeeze him out and we are up into 12th place from 15th on the start. We've got to be careful because Lando Norris is very quick in that McLaren car as Danny Kvyat is getting involved with the 2 Red Bulls who are scrapping up ahead. We are just 6/10 behind that battle, but also we got held up a little bit through turn 2 as we were going side by side with our fellow countryman Lando Norris. You can see Albon and Kvyat still scrapping away as we head up the hill where Lewis Hamilton had that crash in 2017 in qualifying. Norris sticks his nose in down the inside of that corner, pushing us a little bit wide through this left-hander. And that means that Norris can just swing around the outside there. And we have dropped back down into 13th place. We got no traction from these soft tyres. Obviously not really managing to get them up to temperature in the way we would have liked. And Lando Norris just seized that opportunity and swung it around the outside, heading up the top of the hill. And that is very disappointing. We are now down in 13th place, ending lap 1. Obviously, we might come under a little bit of threat from Kimi Raikkonen, the Alfa Romeo car, notorious for being extremely quick in a straight line on this game. But we come across the line for the end of lap 1 and we have gained 2 positions. We now cut to the end of lap 2 in the slipstream of Lando Norris using Rich Mix. We've used all of our overtake for this lap, but we're going to get some more as we cross the finish line. We've set a purple final sector in the slipstream, but we are very close to the back of the McLaren car. Not quite close enough on that occasion. We got so close with that purple final sector to getting past our fellow countrymen, but we were unable to get past. We are now in the slipstream, heading down towards turn 4. We're going to have a think about going down the inside. We get very close to Norris, but we have to back out eventually. And it does take us a few more laps to catch up to our fellow Brit, Lando Norris. We're on lap 5 now, following in his slipstream. We're using all of our overtake, using our Rich Mix. We're going to pull to the left-hand side and down the inside of Lando Norris we go. He turns in onto us. There's a little bit of contact, his front wing on our side pod, but we do get past and we are up into 12th place now. So chasing after Danny Kvyat on these soft compound tyres. They seem to be working well. We cut onto lap 7. We're sort of caught in no man's land really as we cut onto lap 8. We are just sort of stuck between not quite having the pace of Danny Kvyat. We've dropped off a little bit from him. We have also extended a gap out to Lando Norris. So we're a little bit in no man's land in this Grand Prix. Hopefully we can do something with the strategy. And I say that we go on to lap 12, coming up to the top of the hill. We're going to actually go in for a pit stop. I've called Jeff in. We're going to do an undercut. The scheduled pit lap was lap 14, but we've decided to come in on lap 12. We were just getting nothing from these soft compound tyres. 3.7 seconds was the gap from Danny Kvyat when we pulled into the pit lane. So hopefully we can use the new hard tyres to our advantage. In the pits we go. What's the stop like? 2.2 seconds. That is excellent. And we come out behind George Russell, but we are ahead of Nicholas Latifi. So I mean that's one less car we have to fight. I'm sure Russell will probably come into the pits before we actually manage to catch him, as he is about 3 seconds ahead as we come out of the pit lane and down towards turn 4. Obviously the pit exit disjointed between the CNRSs here at Interlagos, but we do now come onto lap 14. Chasing after George Russell, I'm very sure he's going to be coming into the pits on the end of this lap. Most of the soft compound tyre runners will be coming into the pits, and yes, so we will get past Russell, one of the Haas cars, and Kimi Raikkonen. and up into 18th place. But obviously we've been setting some good lap times. You can see Daniel Kvyat is coming out of the pits now, so this has got to be imperative that we got to get much closer to him. We were 3.7 seconds behind after that pit stop. Look how much closer we are now, just 1.4 seconds as we head now down towards turn 4. So this undercut has worked very well. Obviously we have slightly fresher tyres, but it is very good how we have managed to close up a 2-second gap using the fresh tyres. And Kvyat has not been able to slice his way through the traffic. Guan Yu Zhou and Kevin Magnussen getting an excellent job done of holding up Daniel Kvyat as Guan Yu Zhou now pulls into the pits. We're just less than a second actually. We had DRS behind Daniel Kvyat. So look how much closer we've got. And above there, we've also got Carlos Sainz in the mix, and Lando Norris and Antonio Giovinazzi cut onto lap 16. We are so close to the back of Danny Kvyat now. We might actually get the jump on him because he is being held up so much by Antonio Giovinazzi, who hasn't come into the pits yet. And in towards Jun Sao, we had to think about going down the inside, but that would be opportunistic to say the least. We cut now onto lap 17 into the middle sector. Antonio Giovinazzi has pitted, but we're going to pull to the right-hand side and down the inside of Danny Kvyat we go. This is not normally an overtaking spot, but he was going so slowly that we forced our way down the inside and we're up into 12th place. Just one position behind the soft compound shod Lando Norris, so he has obviously going to do a 2-stop today. We're doing a 1-stop like most people are, but Lando Norris has decided to do a 2-stop with 2 sets of the soft compound tyre. And down the inside in towards Jun Shao we go. We managed to just bump it across the curb and we're up into 11th place. And Daniel Kvyat has got past Lando Norris. So this 2-stop strategy, not only has it harmed Lando Norris a bit, here comes Daniel Kvyat into the first corner. There's been a yellow flag up ahead because Sergio Perez is out of the session, meaning we're now in a net P10. But look how close Daniel Kvyat is behind us. He's going to get a run down towards turn 4. He's going to be in our slipstream, but he doesn't make it this time. But on lap 20, Carlos Sainz on his medium tyres has closed up a lot to us. Here comes Daniel Kvyat down towards turn 4. We try and fend him off, but he goes down the inside. A little bit of contact, simulation damage on this game mode. So I think Kvyat might have a tiny bit of wing damage, but he has got past us into turn 4. And Carlos Sainz goes down the inside up towards the top of the hill. His medium tyres providing that much more grip, and we do manage to lose the position because we were unable to swing back past him heading round the top of the hill, which is very, very disappointing. So we are now in 12th place. Following after these 2 cars, obviously 10th place is going to be the target for this Grand Prix with points on offer, of course. As Sainz and Kvyat are going wheel to wheel into the Senna S's. Who's going to come out on top in this battle? They're going to be holding each other up. So if we get a good run, we might be able to get past. But look, we've burned so much fuel. We have to do a lot of fuel saving towards the end of this Grand Prix. But we're in the slipstream of Daniel Kvyat and Carlos Sainz. But the sad thing is we're just a little bit too far back. And we ran out of overtake, so we didn't have the electrical energy 160 horsepower to boost past us. But here we are now in the slipstream of Daniel Kvyat. 10th place is waiting for us. We're going to pull to the left-hand side and down the inside of Kvyat we go. We try and be as aggressive as possible, and we have got past the Russian, and we are up into 10th place. 1 point on offer if we manage to keep this position, which would be great. We've still got 13 laps to go. As Daniel Kvyat might have a run down into turn 4, but he's unable to. Now on lap 25, Esteban Ocon is going to have a run. He's had great pace in the second half of this race, and look how easily Esteban Ocon swings past us, and we have lost this final points paying position. That is so frustrating. We tried so hard to get past Esteban Ocon, and now we are in his slipstream. This is probably going to be our best opportunity, because after this we're going to have to save some fuel. We're going to pull to the left-hand side and go for it down the inside of Esteban Ocon, but we've gone too deep. Ocon does the switchback, and I think that's our only chance of getting past Esteban Ocon. Wasted. We tried to dive down the inside into turn 1, but he switched underneath us into turn 2. And yes, 5 laps later, we've been unable to get past Esteban Ocon. He's pulled a gap on us, and that is so frustrating. We were so close to getting points. If we just managed to break a little bit earlier, we might have got that move done, but we're going to probably finish now in 11th place if nothing happens ahead of us. And yes, heading into Yun Sao for the final time on lap 36. We have not been able to catch up to Esteban Ocon. It's so frustrating that we've missed out on 1 point, which could be crucial heading into the season finale in Abu Dhabi in our constructors fight with AlphaTauri, but we're going to come across the line and finish in 11th place.
So So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So that was the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's a real shame that we just missed out on points there. We had one opportunity and we couldn't quite make it stick. So we did finish in 11th. And disappointing race for our teammate as well, who went down from 14th to 19th. So that is a very poor showing. Obviously, we are still 9th in the driver's standings on 61 points. Guan Yu Zhou still hasn't scored a point yet, which is very frustrating. And also, we're just 3 points behind AlphaTauri heading into the season finale next up in Abu Dhabi. But if you did enjoy this episode, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new to the channel and you want to see twice weekly Formula 1 content. Next up is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and the Season 1 finale, which should be really, really exciting. And I will catch you in Yas Marina. Later, guys.